Good job, Paul. This is really delicious. I see why you ate the whole thing.
Welcome back to Paul and Benny. I'm Paul, and today we are making this delicious buttermilk pie. I'm starting off with the same pie crust I made in my perfect pie crust video last week. I just used the food processor to speed things along a little bit, but let's get started. Full recipe, of course, is in the description box below with all the measurements. So I'm just adding some sugar, some salt, and some butter, some room temperature butter. And I'm blending it up just until the sugar looks like it's all incorporated. You don't have to cream it super well like you would for a cake recipe because it's all going to melt together in the oven. Now I'm adding in my eggs here. I'm going to add one and I'm going to add two. And you don't have to beat everything in, any specific order here. So I'm going to add my vanilla in right away. And then I'm going to add a good deal of cinnamon here. Some people omit the cinnamon altogether and they go really heavy on the nutmeg. I add in the cinnamon and then I do about a half teaspoon of nutmeg. I just want to perfume it. And then I'm going to mix it all together really well. And now it's time for the star of our show. This is our buttermilk. Want to shake it really well because sometimes it's thinner on the top and thicker on the bottom. But yeah, about 1 1/4 cups. And you want to make sure to look at your ingredients when you buy your buttermilk. There should only be about 2 or 3 ingredients. It shouldn't have a whole bunch of thickeners and stabilizers. It doesn't cost any more to buy the really good stuff. So we're going to just add that in and mix it until it's smooth. Like most recipes, you want to be sure to scrape down that bowl really well. Sugar and flour and salt, things get stuck under the liquid and the mixer doesn't mix it in super well. So you want to scrape it, get everything off the bottom and the sides, and then be sure to give it another good mix here. So you can see that was a really simple recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and pour our mixture into our pie shell. And then I realized I left out an important ingredient. Look at the top left portion of your screen there. You'll see me dumping the mixture back into my bowl and trying to clean up my pie crust. I don't want any of this liquid to bake on the edge and burn before the pie is done. But I forgot the flour. So yeah, into the bowl it goes again. Add my 1/4 cup of flour and we'll mix that in. Okay, take 2. Let's try this again. So we're going to add our delicious buttermilk mixture, sweet and cinnamony and nutmeggy, into our pie crust. And we're going to pop it in the oven. It's going to take about an hour. This is a thin pie dish. It's not deep dish and it's only 9 inches across. So it's not like a giant pie for a deep dish apple. I'm going to bake it about 55 minutes and I'm going to let it sit in the oven once the oven's off for about 10 minutes as well. But my other pie crust I made, since the recipe makes 2 crusts, I've popped it in the freezer to freeze it, and this is what I love to do. I have a 2.5 gallon hefty zipper bag for the freezer. It's not going in smoothly because, of course, I'm trying to record so it won't behave. But I like to put my pie crusts in here. You can stack 3, 4 maybe at a time in here, freeze them, and just take them out when you need them. And look at the pie. Out of the oven, cracked like a road map. I don't care. It's still puffed up. It soufflés like a pumpkin pie, and then it's going to fall back down. But it's already looking beautiful to me because I know how delicious it tastes. And then you see the pie, once it cools down about 2 hours, it really falls back down in the pan. Still cracked up a lot. You see where some of that mixture baked on the side, but it didn't affect the taste one bit. I can keep my cheesecakes from cracking a lot, but sometimes my pumpkin, sweet potato, buttermilk pies like this, my custards still crack. I didn't put a pan of water in the bottom. I don't know if that really helps, but if you know a way to keep it from cracking, by all means, please let me know. But I'm supposed to let this sit in the refrigerator for about 2 hours, and I'm a chubby kid and I don't have a lot of patience. So I'm cutting myself a piece right now and I'm going to enjoy it room temperature. No, it's not room temperature, a little bit warm. And I know that's not the best way, but I love it anyway. So excuse me for just a moment. If you don't want to freeze your crust in the pie pan or you don't have room, you can do what I'm doing here. This is my crust for my mini pecan pies later in the week. I put a piece of parchment paper on top of the crust. It's still soft. I haven't chilled it yet. And I'm just going to roll it up gently around my rolling pin. And then I can put this in a gallon zipper bag. You can put several of them in there. They fit really well. Just put it in there. I want to look at my paper's in the way. Let me get it out of the way here. And then I'm just going to make sure that I get the majority of the air out of the bag. Pop this in the freezer and it's ready whenever you need it, whenever you're ready to bake a pie.
It looks amazing. Paul, I know you already did this, but like, look at that. And I told him the crust was actually really pretty. And his little technique he did there, which I'm sure he'll talk about, looks really good. But let's give this a try. Kind of like sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie, but the flavor is way brighter. Still has like seasonal flavors to it. I see why you've been snacking on this. Now I'm going to try the crust here because that's my favorite part of any pie. Very good pie crust, Paul. You made this, right? Mm-hmm. This is okay. All right. Okay, Paul. Well, new pie standards set here, both in flavor, texture, just the overall taste of everything. So delicious. Good job, Paul. As always, we're Paul and Benny. We're super grateful for delicious holiday desserts, especially, and we're grateful for you watching.